right, hi everybody. Welcome to the second episode of Hitched and Happy. This is a podcast all about wedding planning, and I am a wedding photographer, so it is from the perspective of a wedding photographer. I have been to over 120 weddings, so I have seen a lot of stuff go down, and I have some advice and tips for you guys that I just want to share. And I also just love the platform that is the podcasting space. I think it's really amazing to make quick content for social media. I have a whole Instagram called Hitched and Happy Pod now, where you can go and watch little clips. I'm going to be making some posts on there too that are just like general wedding planning. It's kind of like a blog for wedding planning, but I'm using an Instagram page for it. So Hitched and Happy Pod, I'm on Instagram as well. And today I launched the first episode. I put it out to the world. So that was really exciting. So I figured I'm going to film the second episode. Today I also had a shoot that I did this morning. I went and photographed a house. I still occasionally do some real estate stuff, which is kind of cool because I did real estate photography when COVID was going on and when weddings were not happening, because I started my wedding photography journey about 4 years ago when COVID was a thing. So obviously weddings got all canceled and rescheduled and were not happening. So I had to pivot, which was really great because I learned a lot of skills about how to work with the gear that I have while doing real estate. And it's such a unique time in my life because I don't really do real estate anymore. But this morning I had a shoot. So I sometimes still get to do real estate shoots, and it always brings back feelings of nostalgia for me because I did a lot of that during COVID. And it is cool to be like, oh yeah, I used to do a lot of this and look how far I've come. So that was exciting. I did some editing this afternoon. I came home and I napped because tonight there are line dancing lessons happening at my local country bar, and I'm going to go to those. So it is actually right now, it is 8:30 at night. So I'm filming this in the evening. I'm a little bit tired. I'm a little bit groggy from my nap. I napped and then I had a client meeting, and I woke up 20 minutes before that client meeting. So I was like, I hope they cannot tell that I literally just woke up from a nap. But anyways, that's sometimes what I have to do to fit in my personal life and then make sure I get enough sleep. And who doesn't love a good nap? So today, what I want to be talking about is I'm going to read some Reddit stories of not so great wedding situations and, dare I say, some horror stories that went down at people's weddings. And I just thought it would be fun to kind of talk about how you could prevent these things at your own wedding. A lot of them are quite out there, and I tried to find stories that weren't all about family drama because I definitely know that is a real thing. And I'm not a therapist, I'm a wedding photographer, so I will talk about wedding things, not how to fix your relationships in your family. So I tried to avoid family drama ones for as much as I could and just keep it more about wedding planning. Yeah, I just thought that'd be like kind of a fun episode. I'm just grabbing my phone here. And let's dive into our first little Reddit story. Okay, so this one is called Couple Doesn't Know If DJ Will Show for Their Wedding Day. This is a story with some complexity. Please bear with me. I'm a Rhode Island wedding DJ servicing the surrounding area also. One of the brides, whose wedding I had done a few weeks ago prior, texted me on a Monday morning. Funny enough, she had her own horror story related to the venue, but that's for another post. She had asked if I was available for her friend's wedding on the coming Saturday, 6 days notice. Fortunately, I was. Her friend Michaela and her fiance Jason had hired a DJ on Facebook and had found out that the weekend prior, he no-showed not one but 2 weddings. No backup plan like here's another DJ or anything. They had not heard from their DJ and were fearing that he would not show for their wedding too. So they decided just to cancel and find a new one, which ended up being me. Their wedding day was smooth, and at the end we joked about how I actually showed up. They had an awesome time, and so did I. But I'd also like to mention the conversation I had with the officiant about the DJ canceling. She immediately asked, is it this person? I didn't get names, so I wasn't sure, and honestly, I don't want to know who it was. Now, one thing I stress to any couple is you are getting what you pay for. This is true. But I absolutely don't think the couple is to blame for a DJ outright not showing. Also true. And I think I might be adding a line about this to my website because I've heard things like this too often. So yeah, very stressful situation. I'm glad that they kind of sensed that the DJ wasn't showing to these other weddings beforehand, so that they still had 6 days notice to find another DJ. I think DJs are one of those things that people don't always budget a lot of money for. I'm in the Facebook groups quite often. I run my own Facebook group. And I do see people looking like they know that they want a DJ. They don't want to do the sound themselves, but I have worked with some DJs recently who charge a bit more, and man, are they a joy to work with. Absolutely wonderful to work with. So it is one of those things where you do get what you pay for. I am curious though, if they put a deposit down with this DJ and if they were able to get that back and what that situation was like, because they didn't talk about that. I do hope that, like, obviously since they canceled, the DJ could come to them and be like, well, you don't get your deposit back because you're the one canceling on me. But maybe it was worth it to lose that deposit in the end. And I'm sure they were happy to pay more for a DJ that was actually going to show up. So yeah, I don't know what happened there with the money. I hope that they did get their money back. And I think it's just a good reminder that it's really important that you vet your vendors well. Something that I've started doing in my own photography business is I try to meet with all of my couples in person if possible, either before or after they book. And that's just like me showing them, hey, I'm going to take care of you on the wedding day. So I think if you can find a DJ that's like willing to hop on a Zoom call with you and you get good vibes from that. If you get bad vibes, don't go with it. But if you get good vibes after meeting them or hiring a reputable company, or referrals are great. Or referrals are great in the wedding industry because you know they've done your friend's wedding or your family member's wedding. So yeah, just vet your vendors really well. I'm glad that this DJ was able to come through. And, you know, things like this happen. Like, you can still vet your vendors really well. So I think it's just like important to look out for red flags. If you reach out to one of your vendors and they don't respond to you right away and communication isn't super fast or super clear, I would take that as a red flag and maybe not hire them and maybe go a different direction, because you want someone that's like, if there's a problem or an issue at your wedding, they're willing to confront it head on and they're not going to run away and hide from it and not show up to your wedding. So I think my advice here as a wedding vendor myself is just vet your vendors really well. Meet them in person, even if it's just your DJ. Like, if they're open to meeting in person or meeting over Zoom, I think that would be really beneficial. And so yeah, don't hire vendors unless you've met them or know about them through a friend, and just really watch out for red flags. Make sure they have good communication, make sure they have an actual website. Every time that I see a business that doesn't have a website or a good website, I immediately see that as a red flag and get a little sketched out. So those are kind of the things that I would look out for. Okay, moving on to the next story. Okay, this one is called Venue Contract Shenanigans. Hi, I know this is a small community, but I have to vent this somewhere. My fiance and I started touring reception venues months ago, and we stumbled upon what I will call my dream venue. We had a tour with a lovely staff member who promptly sent us a bank copy of their standard contract for us to review and ask questions. I was referred to a separate staff member. We'll call him Richard when it comes to actual price negotiations. We went back and forth for a while. He wasn't super prompt, but it wasn't a huge issue for me. Red flag. But wasn't a huge issue for me as we were still looking at other venues and I'm in the deciding phase. Okay, that's fair, but it's still good to look out for these things. Communication is key. I try to get back to everyone that emails me like within 24 to 48 hours. Like, even if they email me late at night and I'm just chilling there, I have really bad work boundaries, but like it's also because I want to take care of my clients as well. And like, I'm on my phone all the time anyway. So if they email me late at night, like 10 o'clock, I'll email them back right away if it's a quick question. So if someone's taken many days or weeks to get back to you, Eventually, Richard offered me a discount price if our guest count was under 75. My fiance and I decided to take the offer. I requested that Richard draw up a contract with those terms for us to sign, and he asked me for some contact info to build this contract. I sent my info on July 5th, and Richard said he would work on the contract. By July 11th, I hadn't heard anything back, so I sent a follow-up just to check in. He told me that he would get my contract finished and sent out that day. By July 16th, I had still not received the contract. So this is 11 days later. So I sent another follow-up. Richard sent back the email address that he had on file, which was incorrect. That was also annoying because I just sent him my correct email address on July 5th. And also, like, aren't you emailing him right now with the rest of the info he requested? Why didn't he have my correct email address? Whatever, mistakes happen, right? This is very true. Mistakes definitely do happen. He apologized and said he would have the contract resent to the correct email that day. Sorry, Susie is trying to destroy the couch because she probably thinks I'm talking to someone and ignoring her. So, Susie, why are you so destructive? Once again, I didn't receive anything, so I sent another follow-up the next day. He didn't respond. July 18th, he sent some messages my way implying that he had been trying to contact me. I told him that it wasn't a big deal. I'm just getting anxious not having my venue officially locked in. That is very fair. And also, it's really hard because they picked this venue. It sounds like this couple, they really weighed out their options. They were in the deciding phase for a while. And then when they finally locked one in, they were very excited about it and they wanted to see it through. So it makes sense to me that even though there's red flags, they're actually very excited about this venue because it's the one that they want. She called it her dream venue. So it would be really frustrating to now be like, okay, we're back to the drawing board with a venue. He asked if he could give me a call. I didn't entirely understand why he needed to call, but agreed. I answered the phone when Richard called, and he began listing out all these excuses and sob stories about why he can't just send my supposedly finished contract to the correct email address. He cited a lot of connection issues at his workplace and how busy he is personally managing 100+ brides all by himself. Not a good look. Then he made the conversation wildly unprofessional and began ranting about COVID conspiracy theories the entire time. I'm on the other end of the line, like she put like the little O, the little like wide eyes. After enough of my stunned silence, he reined himself in and assured me that he was working from home that day so he would not have the connection issues that he normally does. You'll have your contract sent to you today. Okay, guy. He did not actually send out the contract because of course he didn't. My fiance and I discussed Richard's wild unprofessionalism, basically decided to search for other venues. This is my dream venue, but I can't be dealing with this man. I didn't bother to notify Richard of this out of morbid curiosity to see how long it would take him to send the contract when unprompted, if at all. Fast forward to yesterday, July 21st. At 6 p.m., I finally got a contract-like email from Richard. I opened it to discover that he sent me a PDF of their blank contract with the text, "We can fill in the numbers later." Mind you, I have had a copy of their blank contract since we took our tour months ago. What exactly is this solving, Richard? When is this later that you're referring to? We set a date, price, guest count, and amenities list. What exactly is preventing you from doing your job properly? I'm just wow. Sorry for this long read. I'm just baffled at how bad this man is at his job. I can't believe this business is still open and that people actually deal with him and have pleasant weddings at this location. I don't even know how they get their wedding. To be honest, this sounds like a nightmare. So yeah, lots of red flags. I understand why she was trying to look past the red flags, because if you really love a venue, like a venue is a very hard thing to find. And if you find one that is going to be a perfect fit in the price that you're looking for, it would be really hard to let that go. But I think in the long run, it is very, very good that they did not end up going with this venue. Probably saved them a lot of headaches down the road. This is the one thing I have learned, because in my business, I do want to find people that I'm a good fit to work for and that they are also a good fit for me and they are going to enjoy my work. So whenever it hasn't worked out with specific clients, usually I just remind myself that this is saving me a headache later. I hope that kind of makes sense. But basically what I'm trying to say is if something doesn't work out, it is saving you a headache later. This could have turned into a whole disaster if they had put money down. So thank goodness that Richard never sent them the contract. The thing that I want to preach to people about wedding vendors is it is so important that you find wedding vendors that make you feel taken care of, that are going to be there for you because you are spending a lot of money. And this is a very important day. You are going to have all your family members in one place. And this is the only time in your life that all these people will be here together. So you don't want to be dealing with all this stuff. You want to be enjoying the moment and enjoying your friends and family. So I just tell people, make sure you get the warm and fuzzies from your wedding vendors. And if you don't do that, keep looking. You will find the right people. Even if you have to spend a little bit more, or even if you have to look a little bit longer, make sure that you feel taken care of by your wedding vendors. Let me go to the next one. Okay, this one is about calling off an engagement. So I'm 27 male and was engaged to 27 female. I recently had to break off our engagement and it was the hardest thing I could have done. I still love her, but there were some things that happened when she moved in that made the relationship unrecoverable. From dealing with her emotional outbursts, from struggling with depression and anxiety, to hiding things from me and breaking trust, to her being resentful for me postponing the original wedding date, to her making issues with my family and my dog. It turned ugly really fast, and I started to feel like the person I got engaged to was not the person I was about to marry. She says that I wasn't loving her unconditionally, but to me, she wasn't showing up in the way she was in the beginning, and it caused me to withdraw. I wanted to love her the way she wanted me to, but there was so much damage caused by all of this chaos, and it became a toxic situation. I struggle to forgive myself because I feel like I gave up on a good thing. No. But, sorry, I can't help but comment. But I'm also relieved that the toxicity is over. Telling someone you're deeply in love with that it's not going to work out was really tough to do. And I'm currently in the grieving process. The hardest part is she can't move out of my house from downstairs until a month from now. This is my first major breakup, and I'm struggling to cope with breaking my parents' heart. Just here to vent. So this one is less about wedding planning and more about relationships, but I am also, I want people to marry the right people. Like, I don't like it when I see weird toxic signs in the couples I'm photographing. Like, I want them to be happy and in a healthy relationship and in a marriage that's going to last. So sometimes I like looking into, why relationships don't work out and reading some stories on that. So I think this is the right call. It is really hard when you're in love with someone and you also want to marry them and you make plans to marry them. But so much better, just like Richard in the last story, so much better to call it off now than to get married and then be like, crap, this is a toxic relationship. It's very hard to call off an engagement. I have had a couple bookings where that happened and the wedding did not go through, and it was really sad. Even I was sad because I'm like, I hope they're okay. But ultimately, I know that they are making the right call for themselves. And I don't want to see people getting married that have any doubts. I don't think you should have doubts about the person you are marrying. If you do, it might not be the right situation. Anyways, back to wedding planning. Brother's girlfriend pregnant right before my destination wedding. He wants to announce it. My brother told me today that his girlfriend is pregnant 2 weeks before my destination wedding. So my wish for weddings is to, 1, celebrate being with my significant other for 8 years, and 2, to have a wonderful vacation with the people we love most. My brother's announcement could disrupt that. Well, my mom and sister are fairly chill. It could also be a bit of a shock and they may not react well. I worry it could make things unpleasant and take away from the awesome thing I planned. He's a father already with a child in a different state. He's got limited involvement in parenthood, sadly, so this news has some mixed emotions. Okay, this is making sense now. He's been in and out of jail, had a rough childhood, and left our smallish town to pursue a better life. In my opinion, it's best he's not in that town because of his lifestyle, and he doesn't fit into the right crowd in our hometown and would have more legal involvement there. This factor makes it best that he's not there and not around his kid as much. Sad, but better for the child. He now lives in a bigger city and doing okay. No legal involvement mostly. His girlfriend that he's had for 1 to 2 years is pregnant and 20 weeks along. My concern is he told me today, and though I'm happy for him, he wants to reveal it at my destination wedding when all of us are together. I was very supportive and happy for him genuinely because you can't change it, and it's better to just be supportive and loving in my opinion. I've put 2 years and 20K plus into planning this wedding. Only my younger sister has met her. I'm the girlfriend. Mom and I haven't yet. I wonder if the girlfriend is coming to the wedding. I'm grateful he did tell me before the wedding. That was probably the right move on his part. I told him it would be best if he announced it after the wedding, but I think she will be showing, and I don't think they can hide it. So she is coming to the wedding. My intentions is to have peaceful and fun time celebrating my relationship with my soon-to-be husband and to have a wonderful time catching up with the people we love most in the world. How should I suggest my brother approach the pregnancy announcement to my mom and sister? I'm actually curious to see what people are saying. The reason I picked this one is I just thought it was a really interesting situation, because you don't want to steal someone's thunder, but I don't think I would be mad if my sibling announced that she was pregnant, like, during my wedding week. Just not, like, on my wedding day, but I'd be very excited. I think they should tell the key family members separately first, but then that's hard because it's going to spread around. But maybe he should tell the mom and sister first, and then everyone else can kind of find out. And then it would be just like a congratulations, unless their family has drama. Sounds like there's a little bit of drama going on here. These are what some of the comments are saying. So is he planning on announcing at the wedding or telling your family while he's there? Either way, I think he's a dick, but telling him not to isn't going to stop him. Okay, this is what the original poster says. He absolutely is. My expectation is very low of him. He was really bad for a long time and stole our stuff and would get arrested constantly. As long as he doesn't ask for money at this point, I'm good. He can make his own decisions. I've let a lot of stuff go and will never live close to him. He did let me know, though, which was good. I'm glad he at least told me older versions of him would completely ruin our time. When we talked today, we thought maybe announcing after the wedding would be good, but she's too far along. Yeah, there's nothing you can do then. I think my mom is going to notice. I don't know what to suggest to him if I don't treat him with only positively. He'll shut down and ruin stuff anyways. Then someone said they need to tell your parents now. No if, no but, no coconuts. Then spread the word to those attending. Tell him he has 24 hours to tell your parents or you will. Yeah, I think that's good. What's more, if he doesn't tell them not to bother coming. Okay. I think if the parents see that she is showing, they're going to be hurt that he didn't tell them. So I think he just has to tell them. It sounds like they're going on a vacation for the wedding, so he doesn't have to tell them on the wedding day, but he should tell them. And then I think it's a bride. I think it's a female who's the original poster. I think she just needs to let it go, enjoy her wedding. Everything is going to be fine. Whether people know that her brother is pregnant or not, it's all going to be fine. I know it's probably going to be brought up and talked about at the wedding, but like, I know he has a past, but it's his life and he does deserve to tell people what's going on in his life, whether it is your wedding or not. So I think, yeah, definitely do not bring it up at the wedding. I think most people would know that is kind of not the move, but if he could do it before the wedding, I don't see an issue with that. I'm actually curious to know what people think about this one. So if you do have an opinion on whether people should announce big life things around time of other people's weddings, like pregnant, getting engaged themselves, any of that, let me know what your thoughts are. I'm actually very curious. I might throw this dilemma up in the Facebook group. I think that's kind of why I picked this one, because I thought it would be an interesting conversation starter with where people could give their opinions of, because for me, I personally don't really care as long as people aren't announcing stuff big like that on my wedding. Because like your wedding is still going to be it's going to be a day that is very centered around you, no matter what else is going on in people's lives. And you'll still feel all the feels on your wedding that you want to and all the emotions. And honestly, it might be less stressful for you if he just tells them before the wedding, because then you don't have to worry about him announcing it at your wedding. Like, you don't want to stress about that on your wedding. Okay, last Reddit story here. Okay, so this one is called So We Aren't Married. I got married in Georgia just over a month ago. The officiant was going to turn in the certificate for us, and he told us if he had not received our copy by last week, to call them. I did not receive the certificate, so I called the court, and they had not received any paperwork. I called him, texted him, and emailed him over the past week, and have heard nothing back. He's an old guy, so I was worried he died. So I messaged his daughter, the photographer, and now she isn't responding. She is actively posting wedding content, but now I have no clue what to do. I guess we will just have to get a new certificate and just go to the courthouse. Has anyone else run into this? Oh my goodness. Update. The officiant emailed me. He said he was sick and put it in the mail today. He said, hopefully there will be no issue with the courts. We will see. Oh, okay. So the OP said, I called the court and they just told me under no circumstances can I just get married again. And I was like, well, technically I'm not married now. And I guess I'm in an indefinite in-between stage where I cannot legally get married until this is settled. If I do not hear anything within a week, I'm calling a lawyer. I wasn't able to get on my spouse's insurance because we didn't get a copy in time, which is frustrating. So this was only posted 8 days ago, so I feel like they're still getting updates. Yes, I believe it is the same here where I live in Alberta, Canada, where they have to like mail it into the registry. Whoever marries you has to mail it in. So you want to make sure that's done in a timely manner. I don't know if there was red flags with this officiant that they had before. It's really weird that the daughter isn't responding, that the photographer isn't responding. I find that super suspicious. So yeah, I guess new question to ask your wedding officiants is, do you send in the mail right away? And I assume most of them do. And if you have a friend marrying you, you also want to make sure that they mail that in right away. And I believe it's their responsibility to mail it, although I'm not a wedding officiant. But at a recent wedding, the bride knew all the information about it, and they had a friend marrying them, and she was like, you have to mail this in on Monday, like, get this in. Okay, so I think that is going to be it for this episode. Thank you for watching. I am moving in 3 weeks, so this might be the last time you're seeing this backdrop. I'm hoping to set up a bit of a podcasting studio area so I can, because right now I live in a very small basement suite and I have to like set up my lights, set up my camera, but if I can just like have an area where I have space for that to leave it set up. This area looks really clean right now, but if you could see the rest of my house, it was a bit of a disaster. But I'm so unmotivated to like clean this house because I'm moving in 3 weeks, but it's like too soon to pack because I still have to like function. So anyways, thanks for tuning in to Hitched and Happy. I'm going to leave my socials. Oh yeah, if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's Hitched and Happy Pod on Instagram. And if there are any topics that you would like to have me do, let me know. I'm going to be bringing on some guests soon too. So if there's any specific wedding vendors you want to hear from, let me know. And I'll see you next time on Hitched and Happy.